Cash is. I don't know who the other nigga is that he's talking about. This wasn't no situation where I was hanging out with niggas the night before and the next morning some shit went wrong. Cause you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, the story that he told was bogus. You let your mans go to jail and take a rape charge because he couldn't tell the cops what he was really doing?
I'm sick of it.
But you was getting money back then. So you mean to tell me that you couldn't help out his respectable fucking family with the $7,000 that his wife claimed that's all he needed to have a lawyer? That he was railroaded? But you was getting money back then. But you know he couldn't tell the cops what y'all was really hanging out doing. He couldn't use you as an alibi because you was dealing with your own legal issues. But nigga, you said out your own mouth that you went to jail in 98. This nigga came home in fucking 99. He had already been in jail 4 years. 3 years.
What the fuck are you talking about,
You mean to tell me during that whole 3 years that you was out, you mean to tell me none of y'all niggas slipped his parents, his respectable bird family, any type of bread for this nigga?
None of y'all niggas had
30 years later and be like, oh yeah, she was... Listen, this is not about who I fucked. This is not about who I laid down with, who I slept with, did this day, that day, whatever. I'm not arguing none of that. I'm arguing the fact that this nigga right here, if I talk about he was mad, you know what I was really mad at? When she did the interview. Nigga, you wouldn't have known who the fuck I was if somebody didn't point me out to you, my nigga. And nobody would care anything about this nigga if he wasn't with who he's with. My story would have just been a story on freaking YouTube. But because of who he's with and the money that he has access to, listen, I don't have to have hung out in the streets to know what goes on in the streets. I don't know who this nigga employed. I don't know what street niggas he done promised that he's going to get off the street now because he's with whoever. You already got some fucking dummies doing his dirty work coming out to Georgia to fucking see me and contacting my family. So I'm not supposed to be in no type of like... And I understand defending myself really makes no difference to the people who already want me to be guilty. I get that. I understand it, but it's very difficult to have people speak about your character, speak about you and the kind of person that you are when you don't know nothing about me. Nothing. And if you see me today in the street right now, I guarantee you he would walk right past me and not know who the fuck I am. So if you want to stand up for your man, stand up for him.
Right.
And no, he didn't say nothing negative about me. He just said I was a jump off. All right, knock yourself out. I'm not even going to defend that. Because if that's the case, where the fuck are those niggas at?
Why the fuck ain't niggas speaking?
Where are they? Where are they at?
Jennifer, why? Let me ask you something real quick. Like, the goons, Nicki Minaj and Kenneth goons are so about. You was thought. You was the block thought. You was a runaround. You was a fucking...
Listen, I don't care. Listen, I'm honestly and truly...
I don't believe that. But
it doesn't matter if it... See, that's the problem. That's the issue. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I grew up. I grew up in that era where if you dressed a certain kind of way, you asked for it. If you looked a certain kind of way, you asked for it. If a young girl went and told her mother that her boyfriend touched her, I guarantee you she's going to find a day that her daughter was walking around in some little short shorts and claim that she asked for it. That's the era that I grew up in. So no, there wasn't people in the neighborhood marching and all that other shit and gallying up like, oh, he's wrong, he needs to go to jail. No, it was what it was. Because I lived the life that I lived and went through the shit that I went through, I was like, I'll be damned if I'm going to go through it outside in the street too. As a kid, that was my only refuge. As a kid, that was the only time I was able to get away from the shit that I experienced at home. She wasn't for me talking to no black boys. I don't care how black she was. She wasn't with me bringing a black boy home, so there's no way in hell that I would have ever been hanging. Listen, I don't know this nigga named Cash. I'll tell him to his face, I don't know you. You don't know me. You don't know nothing about me. He couldn't tell this dude. And like, they basically just shared freaking war stories.
Even my 14-year-old niece know he lying. Yo, Niecy, tell him he lying.
He lying.
Thank you. Listen, let me tell you a little real quick, man. That crackhead ass nigga Cash definitely lying is evident. Yo, listen. Where the fuck is the proof at, nigga? Where your receipts at, nigga? He ain't got it. He ain't got it.
Nah, but the messed up part about it is to use the excuse that you was out doing some street shit that you can't really talk about as an excuse to diminish what really happened to me. That's foul and it's fucked up. And I don't know if Cash got any kids, and maybe he doesn't, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the world, the era that we came from back in the day, that's what it was. If you was out there looking a certain kind of way, if you acting a certain kind of way in voice, face, anything, they would find a reason to be like, it's your fault. And that's how I grew up. I grew up taking blame for everything that has happened. And I guarantee you, in every situation, I can probably find something where I should have done something different. Like jumping in this guy Zeke Black's comments. I couldn't help it.
I wish you would never jumped in his comments.
You know, me too. Hindsight is 20. You know them. It's always after the fact that you think about it and you be like, you know what? I'm talking to people who genuinely want me to be wrong.
Right.
So to dissect my story and be like, oh, well, you didn't say this time and you didn't say that time. When I first started telling, I was not that I was telling bits and pieces, but I wasn't trying to have beef with anybody. I wasn't trying to be gangster about the situation. And the shit went left when my so-called family member jumped in the mix because she wants to live a certain kind of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So then it turned into me battling her instead of what really the issue was. This wasn't about me raising my hand to be like, hey, this guy did such and such so long ago. Yeah, it was so long ago, but I with it. And now to come back in my life again and be like, yo, you know what? I'm going to give you this little bread and you just, say it never happened. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? Out of all the choices that you had, this was your best one?
When I started seeing the interview, I knew it was clout chasing. It's evident. How the fuck does these people claim to have something on you, but they need a jailbird? A fucking jailbird. Ex-blood, or whatever the fuck he is.
Look, everybody got it passed. I got 2 brothers incarcerated. You understand? I got 6 of them. 6. I have 6 brothers. I am the oldest.
That's fine.
So, no, it's not about, I'm not saying it like, so I'm just saying, like, I'm not thinking that, I'm better or, like, I'm saying I have 6 brothers that I love very much, and I will fight for them, defend them, but I'm not going to hold them up in the right if they're wrong.
Right, and you have not.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I got 2 brothers that are incarcerated. People tried to so-called dox me and put my business out there. Yeah, but ain't none of my kids in jail.
I'm sorry, Queen. I gotta cut you off real quick. You came on my show, and you told me yourself. This is Jennifer's words. I ain't making nothing up. Jennifer told me herself. Listen, I don't agree with what my brother did. And I love my brother, but I'm willing to speak the truth on my brother because I do not support his wrongdoings. You told me that yourself behind the scenes. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And what I told you, I said, Jennifer, I don't care what happened, what transpired. Let's put it out there.
Here's the deal. Look, if one of my brothers did whatever, like, I would hope that they would, whoever got justice, regardless of what it is. You understand what I'm saying, Joe? This is not about, me trying to hide anything or me trying to defend whether or not I was a hoe back in the fucking 90s. I don't know. It depends on, whose level of, whatever person's level of hoe is. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about that. It's about this particular situation. I left my home on September 16th. My home that I grew up in, that I was raised in. And walked to the bus stop and seen a dusty kid that I hated to run into. I hated running into him. That's my experience. And the niggas that he hung out with. You know, back in the day, I grew up in the era where girls was allowed to be tomboys and, you know, rock baggy clothes, but it didn't stop niggas from throwing bottles at us. I grew up in New York. Niggas try to holler at you. Next thing you know, 1 minute they like, you know, trying to holler. Next minute you a bitch and it's fuck you and it's, you know, that's how I grew up. With niggas like that in the neighborhood. So I knew the kind of niggas that he hung out with because I would see them. You know, I grew up in Queens. It's the same in Brooklyn. If you live on a particular block and you go to a particular store, over the course of years, you start to recognize faces and pick up names. And it doesn't mean that y'all know each other. I didn't go to school, elementary school in the hood.
Have you ever go to Cass's bitch ass?
I don't know him. He doesn't know me.
Jennifer does not know you. You do not know her. Stop fucking lying. Stop lying.
He doesn't know me. And to be telling some story like I was in some basement and he dropped me off and at the 6 bus stop, and then I'm arguing with the fucking Zeke Black about where the 6 stop at, and he trying to tell me like I'm not. Nigga, I'm from New York.
You from New York?
I know where the 6 runs. 6 run from Jamaica Avenue down fucking Sufton Boulevard, and it stops on the corner of Sufton and Rockaway. It don't run down Rockaway. This nigga had the nerve to say, "Well, I know you could transfer to the 7." Really, my nigga? So I'm getting dropped off on the 6. I'm transferring to the 7.
After you got
right? Then I'm gonna get off the bus a couple blocks away to say that I got raped and then run to fucking school.
It don't make sense.
So I got on the bus to get off a bus, catch another one, then get off, and then run to fucking school I didn't even take a bus to school.
Right.
I ran to school.
It don't
so, you know what I'm saying? Like, the shit is just
how the fuck was you in
crazy
morning? How? Where was Miss Robinson? If that's true.
Listen, I lived on 130th and Enwood. Right? So Enwood is 3 blocks from Rockaway Boulevard. You gotta cross Rockaway Boulevard to get to that bus stop that I was on. So, you know, I walked from 130th up to Sutter Avenue on Enwood. Make a left on Sutter, and I walk to 145th. And then I walk up 145th to Rockaway. Right. It's 1 block. I got to cross the street to get to 7, going down towards, what is that? Towards Adams, the high school. Like, I'm from there. I know some bus lines change and all that, but that shit ain't fucking changed. So you're not gonna tell me, like, you know, you can't tell me what I experienced. And until this nigga decide to open up his fucking mouth, everybody else just need to shut up.
Yo,
until he decide to talk. He could be in the video and chummy, and all the other stuff or whatever. So he could say something. He's sending all his goons and his freaking ducks or whatever have you to do these dumb, stupid ass lying interviews that could be proven. Y'all don't even know me. You haven't seen me in forever. I left in 94. I came back in 99, stayed maybe about a year, and hadn't been back since.
I don't blame you, Queen. Listen.
So
I don't believe a shit. I don't believe a damn thing this dude Cash is saying. First of all, just the fact that he's saying all of this transpired at 2 a.m. when there's clearly public records.
It's like 9 something in the morning.
And that's public record. So,
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is 9. Like, when they went to go pick the nigga up, when they brought him out of his house, like, he had on everything I said he had on. Yo, this is the thing, listen.
Yo, Jen,
if anybody got the police tip, they would. Oh, my.
Could you tell these people that I have pressed you for the truth, and you have gave me nothing but the truth. I'm not being biased here, yo. Like, listen, I've spoke to Jen straight up behind the scenes, like, yo, Jen, what's
Listen,
this?
even in, look, Hotshot, you still say allegedly after you say what you call it, violated me. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of whatever, you still say it.
Right.
In the beginning, it was a thing of, you know, I was like, oh my gosh, like, yo, there's like total strangers like defending me. Let me send them proof that I'm not lying. Like, so that was my thing. Like,
times, like, yo, I appreciate your subscribers, your followers.
With Nosy, right? That's how I met Nosy, because I'm like, yo, like that, da, da. And then with you, I want to say it was my sister-in-law, you know, Sissy. Hey, beautiful, miss you.
What up, Jay Sassy?
I want to say it was her who sent me your video, and it was you happened to be interviewing the sister, I believe. And I caught like the tail end of it. And I'm like, you know what? Even though he got somebody that's close to, you know, my op, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, he not bashing me because he feel like he has a credible person on there. You know what I'm saying? But Shorty was on there lying too.
Right.
You know, and it's, you know, I feel bad, and I'm not going to talk anything bad about her, but she definitely wasn't my equal, and she don't know me. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't even be able to spot me if I walk right past her. I don't think. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if this was a regular day, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about now, but if this was a regular day, if she was to see me in the street, she wouldn't even know who I was. That's how much of a non-impression I have made on these people. Listen, if I falsely accuse you, you know 3 out of 6 of my brothers. That dude knows 3 out of 6 of my brothers. You know what I'm saying? He ain't never pressed my brothers. He ain't never pressed like, yo, your sister, like, you know, my family didn't leave the neighborhood just because I left.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Okay.
What up, Nishi?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I left, not the whole house. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
you scared about
why nobody, and the people who, you know, Black, I didn't see him in 20 something years, but there was never no beef. The last time I did see him, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't be on Facebook much, but if I was to go on Facebook, I got like maybe like 500 people, right? Friends. Majority of them niggas is from Southside Jamaica, Queens. And I guarantee you some of them niggas probably fucking would hang out with they were probably in Queens during the video. They not attacking me on Facebook because I'm from the same neighborhood and you know what they doing? Minding their business because they wasn't fucking there.
Jerry James says, if you haven't been on here since day one and lack knowledge on this, just don't speak on it. I agree with you, Queen.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not asking nobody to be, you know, I'm not asking you to believe me.
This is Jennifer House.
The reason why I did
to anyone.
No, look, at the end of the day, we're gonna go to court. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying every time somebody go to court, like, you know, everything works out in its favor, whatever happened. But I didn't know what else to do. And at the time, people were like, well, why didn't you go to the police? Because I was fucking, you know, you go to the police, they get arrested, they get out, then what? Now I'm dead?
Now you're dead.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, you know what? I can make a video because I done left the state. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not there. And the kind of person I am, I'm not changing mail. Whatever the fuck went to the old address is just going to stay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I'll be all right. That's what my video was about. Because just in case if something did happen, but I wasn't trying to relive all of this. Constantly defend myself, constantly be like, hey, that's not true. That's a lie. That's a lie. But I'm coming to realize it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like I'm trying to convince to people, but it's not about me trying to convince people. It's just you don't get to lie on me to make him more believable, to make him innocent. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you believe him, then believe him. Then rock with him. I'm not antagonizing anybody. I'm not antagonizing him. I'm not antagonizing his wife. And just because I call him a bum, you know, I don't know what people's